Good day, everyone. I would like you to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And today, and follow me. And in the also suggest it to a friend or refer to a friend that needs help in mathematics. So today we are going to be looking at a topic called sword, and we are going to be looking at different aspects of it. Um, uh, Addition, the meaning of sword, addition and subtraction of sword, simple simplification and rationalization of sorts. So I'm going to be doing the video in two parts. So the part one, we are going to be talking about what is sword. The sword is the one you use in fighting. You already seen that the spellings are different. So introducing sword. So in sword, we are going to see a lot of square roots. Let me check your knowledge of square root. So square root of 36, well, you know, is going to give us 6. Square root of 144 is giving 12. Square root of fourth root of 16, that means 2 times 3, 4 place to give it 16. The square root of 2 will give you 1.41. Square root, third root of 21 give you 0.76. Now, what is now sword? A sword, let me see if yes. A sword is a rational number of any form takes with n, where n is a positive integer. This is not that is not a perfect square. So that means square root of 2, square root of 5, 12. The one you can find the square root and it give you a whole number is just known as sword. Okay. So that means that they have exact values. Okay, this root have exact values at four rational. Okay, I'm square root of x is this one at four rational number. But the ones that you cannot find the square root, they are for irrational number. So you can also say that so there are square roots of irrational numbers. Yes, but cannot find their roots. So rules of sword is important that you understand this rule of sword. Once you understand it, every other aspect of it is so simple to do. The first one is when there are two numbers multiplying each other, the square root of them can be separated. Yes, they can be separated. Example, root 12 is the same thing as 3 times 4. You can find the square root of you can find the square root of 4, or you cannot find the square root of 3. And another one again, 6 and root 5 is the same thing as root 30. So you can split and you can make it together. One of the usefulness of it is that when you see an irrational number on their own cannot find the square root, but when you split it, some of the numbers can be one of those two numbers can be you can find the square root of it. For example, a square root of 12, root 3 does not have square root, but root 4 has a square root. So if you're able to simplify it, it's going to give you 2 root 3. Now let's go to the second rules of um, sword. The second rule of sword is that when a square root like is there, a fraction is in square root form, you can separate the root. Like square root of 10 over 3 is the same thing as square root of 10 and square root of over square root of 3. So this is also used when both the numerator and denominator, maybe one of them you can find its root and you cannot find the root of the other one. You can split them and give each other the one that belongs to them. So in addition and subtraction, let's move down to addition and subtraction of sword. In addition and subtraction of sword, you only add what is inside. So let me explain what I mean by you only add what is inside. In addition of sword, you only add um, the the sword that have the same root. That means you are taking the root as an unknown. Like um, when you are adding, let me see, when you are adding 2x plus 5x. So all you do is to put, your answer will be 7x. So you are taking the x as well, the thing you are adding. So that is the same way it's in salt. You cannot add 2x plus 2y plus 2x, you cannot add them. But when they have the same x, the same unknown, you can add them together. The same thing in the sword. So when you are adding, it's only when the roots are equal, like this one, 3 root 2 and 5 root 2. They have the same root 2 root 2. So you only add, you take it, you look at it as if the root 2 is x. It's not going to be, your answer will now be 8 root 2. So if you have it that in mind, you become easy for you. The same thing in subtraction. You only subtract like 5x minus 2x. We are doing 5x. You do it in the form of this is 8x minus 2x. 8x minus 2x automatically is going to give you 6x. So in this case, you are taking the root, the common root, as if it is variable that you are looking for, and you add it. So note that although we are showing this root with square roots, they are likely going to look so different in another way. So okay, now it can also be cube roots, but mostly in sword, you are going to be seeing it in that form of fourth root and cube root and so on. Okay, now let's move on quickly. Let's move on. So why do this rule work? If you look at it remember if you watch the indices video that I said, when you have a root, it's going to have like square root is like 1 over 2, raised to power 1 over 2. And that raised to power 1 over 2, every one of them is going to take their power and every one of them is going to get it. The same way it works in division. Okay. Now, it's important to know, warning, that root x plus root y is not the same like in multiplication. Don't go and try it and say since multiplication works, addition should also work. It doesn't work that way. Now, like I said, to add or subtract, you just add the outside part and leave the roots to be like the common variable. Remember, um, remember you don't add when they don't have the same root. But once they have the same root, you do your addition or subtraction and do whatever you want to do and get done. Okay, let's move on quickly to this. So I've already told you the simplifying sort. That is another subheading to get on the sort. In simplifying sort, you can split it into two, especially when you can split it in two, where one of them you can find the root. And when you do that, like I told you earlier, you get something like this. Like let's look at this with 45, 32, and 72. Think of two numbers that when you multiply it, you give it these three numbers that I'm giving you. And make sure while you're looking for those two numbers, one of them should at least be a perfect square. Perfect square means you can find the square root of it. For example, 45 can be 9 times 5. I can find the square root of 9, which should give me 3 with 5. Uh, 32 is 16 times 2. I can find square root of 16, which will give me 4 root 2. 72 is 4 times 18. Also, I can find square root of 4. And even the 18 can also be divided into 2. I can also find the square root of 9 and multiply it together. It will give you this. That is how to simplify sort. So even when you are given sort to add and you are not able to um, simplify it, you add it, you can actually simplify it to know if they can have the same root. Now, I want you to pause the video and try doing any of this after you can play it again. So the first one is 2 with 5, that means 4 times 5. Second one is 3, 9 times 3 will give you 27, and 48, 16 times 3, 75, 25 times 3, 4,500, yeah, 30 times 30 times 5 will give you that, and so on. Very easy, very easy to do. So you can start it, you can also you can bring it together, you can also separate it. So we have looked at the rules of addition and subtraction. Now look at multiplication. In multiplication, you just do the same thing that you do. But in this case, you must understand also in multiplication, um, when you are multiplying something that have roots, the what is outside, let me explain it with right. So for example, when you're multiplying 2 times root 2, so it's going to be 2 root 2. Like I told you, when you're multiplying root, whenever you see root, take it as if it's x. For example, 2x times x is going to give you um, 4x squared. Do you get it? But when you have 2 x times 2, the 2 will only affect the number you give the x, so it's going to give you 4x. That meaning that when you're multiplying in the sort, the when you're multiplying with the sort, what is inside the square root, you multiply what is the square root, and what is outside, you multiply what is outside. Now, let me show you what I mean with this one. So 2 we multiply 2, we give you 6. So when 2 times root 2 is going to give you 2, as if 2 times x. Say 2 we multiply root 2 multiplied by 3, it will give you 3 root 2. But when root 2 multiply root 2, they will affect each other and it will give you the number. Whenever a root multiplied by itself, remember square root in the first place means a number that if I multiply twice, that will give me that number. So if square root is multiplying under square root, you just get the number. That is the rule. So with whatever times whatever, we give you that. Okay, that is one of the things that you can use to simplify it. That is why with that explanation, you get 2 there. And the total answer will be when you are adding 6 minus 2 will give you 4, and minus 2 with x plus 8 will give you your answer you are looking for. So treat your sort with 3 sorts like algebraic quantities, like I just explained to you earlier. Okay, you can try this one, pause the video, try this one, and fast forward it to see whether you get the answer. I'm going to be a little bit fast now, believing that you have tried solving it and you have gotten the answer. So it is very easy to understand, especially the addition, subtraction, multiplication. They are actually very easy to understand. Pause the video, try, attempt it. If you still do not understand, follow it gradually the way it's coming, and you will definitely understand this. Now look at that particular one. Look at that particular one, and whenever with 10 with 7 or minus 10 with 7, and it will go. Okay, now let's go to reducing sort. You have actually done that. In reducing sort, all you do is uh, you take it and remove some of those sorts so that you can be able to, like, for example, with 8 is the same thing as 4 times 2, and you have reduced it. You can find square root of 4, and it becomes 2 root 2. That is actually what reducing sort is all about. Okay? So any number you are given, you have practically have done it. So let me move fast away from here. You can do that like what I just, the last simplification now. You can actually simplify it and your answer becomes easy for you to do. Okay. Now, in addition, also like this one, you cannot actually add it because they don't have anything in common. So, but you can simplify it like I've told you before, simplify it, and then you add it together. Look at it. By the time I simplified it, I have 2 root 2 and 4 root 2. Now I can add it, becomes 6 root 2. Look at this 2. So I can simplify it also to be 5. I can have 4 times 5 and 9 times 5. I will now have 3 root 5 and 2 root 5. Then I can add the same way it is. Remember, you cannot add if they don't have the same thing inside the square root, but you can simplify them or reduce them, make them to have the same root, then you can add them together. just like I am doing here now. Okay, so I will stop this video. The next video now, I'm going to go in with rationalization of sun, which is actually a very important aspect of sun. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.